Mute. And I'm talking on mute just to start. Yes. Shows you how often I get to go live now since Facebook has taken away rights and it's been fun. But I'm here. So share this out, guys. I want to go over. I did a little live on my page yesterday talking about this, but now that some of the details are out, I want to go over it real quick. So this is the student loan stuff that we need to talk about and how much money they are really discussing giving out. This is pathetic. When we start talking about our government and our extreme inflation, we just barely got the US dollar to be competitive with the euro. And now we're going to start making the US dollar worth less because we're going to just pump more money into the system. This is getting crazy. But I got some stuff I want to go over with you, so share this out. Let's go ahead and remind us what Joe Biden said during his campaign when he was running for president against Trump.
There is talk of debt relief. There's bailing out of businesses, which is a good thing to do. What about the students? Is now a time to forgive student debt and then restructure how we pay for college so we're not here again in 10 years?
The answer is yes. That's why I proposed and the House, Nancy, put it in the plan to immediately provide $10,000 in debt relief as stimulus right now for students. A minimum of $10,000 relief. I've also proposed that you, in fact, have, if you come from a family where you are making less than $125,000 a year, the family, that you, in fact, are able to go to a state university for free. And you get debt relief for those who've gone to those universities in the last 5 years. Also, we got to make sure that we deal with the notion that people, in fact, look, I was asked to do a study when I was vice president. What are the jobs of the future? Right now, 6 in 10 jobs require something more than a high school degree.
See, he goes on and rambles and goes on about more and more just BS. This is where he's trying to sell everybody. If you notice, he was saying, oh, yeah, I want you to be able to go to school for free. It really elaborate everything. Now he's just forgiving $10,000. And we're going to touch on it. The left wants more than $10,000. We're going to touch on that here in a second. But let's show you what he said after he was supposedly elected. Let's go ahead and just go over that real quick. So let me pull that one up. So after he was elected, this is what he says.
But it's much more complicated. I shouldn't try to talk China policy in 10 minutes on television.
Well, let me bring it back to the United States. I want you to meet Jocelyn Fish, a Democrat from Racine. Jocelyn is the director of marketing for a community theater. Jocelyn, welcome. Your question.
Hello. Good evening, Mr. President. Student loans are crushing my family, friends, and fellow Americans.
Me too.
The American dream is to succeed, but how can we fulfill that dream when debt is many people's only option for a degree? We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. We need at least a $50,000 minimum. What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen. It depends on whether or not you go to a private university or public university. It depends on the idea that I say to a community, I'm going to forgive the debt, the billions of dollars of debt for people who have gone to Harvard and Yale and Penn and schools. My children, I went to a great school, I went to a state school. But is that going to be forgiven rather than use that money to provide for early education for young children who come from disadvantaged circumstances? But here's what I think. I think everyone, and I've been proposing this for 4 years, everyone should be able to go to community college for free. That costs $9 billion, and we should pay for it. And the tax policies we have now, we should be able to pay for it. You spend almost that much money as a break for people who own racehorses. And I think any family making under $125,000 whose kids go to a state university they get into, that should be free as well. And the thing I do in terms of student debt that's accumulated is provide for changing the existing system now for debt forgiveness if you engage in volunteer activity. For example, if you're teaching school, After 5 years, you have $50,000 of your debt forgiven. If you worked in a battered women's shelter, if you worked and so on. So you'll be able to forgive debt. Thirdly, I'm going to change the position that we have now to allow for debt forgiveness because it's so hard to calculate, whereby you can now, depending on how much you make and what program you saw, you can work off that debt by the activity you have, and you cannot be charged more than X percent.
Okay. Hey, he's driving me nuts. I can't sit and hear him ramble too much. I've already watched that whole video, but so we watched two videos. The one was pre-campaign. He said he wants to do it. He's already told Nancy Pelosi to get it going. Here, he was asked if he was going to expand on it and make it up to $50,000, which is what the Democrats are actually pushing for right now. They are saying that this $10,000 is not enough. Even though Joe Biden is going to be doing this $10,000, the Democrats are pushing for $50,000. What a lot of people don't understand is as soon as you get these loans and you've already paid for what you're going to school for, the extra money just goes into your bank account, and a lot of people use it for car payments, tattoos, marijuana, drugs, all of the stuff. Like, it's not going anywhere productive. And now the Democrats want to increase it to $50,000. What? We expect everybody to be going to school to get a doctorate? Like, I know that's more than 50 grand, but why $50,000? That means tuition is too expensive in the first place. That's the problem. And when government is backing all these loans and making it easy to get loans, tuition is just going to keep going up. There's no competition, and there's no reason to make the pricing reasonable. There is no reason to do that when the government is guaranteeing this money. It's the same thing like here in Utah a few years ago when we had safety inspections on our vehicles. It was guaranteed business for companies to be able to do safety inspections on behalf of the state. And so they were mad. All of those businesses were upset when there was a proposal to get rid of those safety inspections because it's guaranteed money. We don't need to be doing this. Student loan forgiveness, if you went to school, you should be paying for your school yourself. You shouldn't transfer that debt to me, to all the people watching here, and every other taxpayer. That should not be happening. Not at all. And when we start looking at it, let's show you one more thing. And when we look at this stuff, this is how, when we're talking about the government and how they manipulate people, it is ridiculous. So here, Joe Biden, let's see, did I share the right one? Yeah, right here. Sorry, wrong screen. Let me move this down so it's easier for me to look at. Earlier this year, this was March 2022, Joe Biden wasn't planning to be including any type of student loan debt forgiveness. He dropped it from the budget. He wasn't planning on doing it as of 5 months ago. As of 5 months ago, it was not in the game plan because they thought they were going to win elections. As soon as the primaries started closing over the last 5 months and showing that everything is red, everything is going red, and they are getting scared for the 2022 elections, now all of a sudden student loan forgiveness is being talked about again. These are our typical politicians that is dangling the carrot in front of your face to get votes. That is the only thing that can be done. It's ridiculous. And that's all they're trying to do. If he was planning to do this all along, why did he drop student loans from the budget this year? Why did he do that? It's not. This is all for votes. And yes, $3 billion to Ukraine. I already went over that yesterday. We have spent $10 billion on Ukraine. We will be spending $300 billion estimated. Let me pull that one up real quick and show you a little bit of the details here. So we will be estimating on student loan forgiveness. Let's see, it's this tab. Bear with me a second. So we will be estimating to forgive around $330 billion. $330 billion is what we will be forgiving. Oh, I shared the wrong tab, but right here, $330 billion. Now, if they push for $50,000 per student loan forgiveness, we will be giving about $1 trillion back in debt and passing that on amongst all the taxpayers. $330 billion right now, you realize that is capable of almost giving this is pretty close because there's 380 million people in America. How much money is that per person? So let's quickly do some math here. So we are going to take $330 billion and we divide that by 380 million people, roughly. I think I know it's a little bit higher than that. Can I do that? Let me count those zeros. This is where I suck. Like, that's a lot of money. There's a lot of zeros here. So there's million. There's billion. Divided by 300. Look. 380000000 million. So you could freaking give away a lot of money to every American if you were to take that out. And we are passing this debt along to all the taxpayers. This is pathetic, guys. Really, really pathetic. And we need to make sure that this year, in this election for 2022, we start looking at candidates that want to balance the budget and stop the spending. We have to. We have to stop the spending. Now, everybody on the right, there's a lot of Republicans that are very against this, of course, but where were they before? They're only saying it now. And so this is just all garbage. They're not against the Ukraine money. Where's the Republicans getting mad about the money going to Ukraine? No one's stopping it. Congress has the power to stop it. Congress can override him. But do they? No. They just allow this spending to continue. We have to start voting in people, regardless of party. We got to make sure we get the right people in for the right job. This is costing us way too much money and our kids' future, our grandkids' future, and our country's future in general. This is pathetic. We have to stop it. But I just wanted to share this in here with you guys. But we're talking literally up to, the Democrats are talking about giving up to $50,000 per student loan, which would be $980 billion. So we might as well say $1 trillion is what they're saying is Joe Biden has to increase it to. And we all know his competency right now. So let's hope he doesn't cave and do it. Because if he does, it's just going to go into our debt and we get to pay for it later. I just wanted to show more of the details now that this is actually really confirmed that it's coming out today with some of the details on the loans. And I show you during his campaign, he was saying $10,000, then $50,000, and then he didn't even include it in his budget this year. This is all to buy votes. So to buy an election, it costs anywhere between $330 billion to $1 trillion. That is what it costs to buy an election. But I wanted to go over that with you guys and let you guys know on some of this detail, and we'll see as more of it comes out. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys later.